keeping them honest every night. AC 360. CNN, weeknights 10 Eastern.
We begin tonight keeping them honest on a story that we've been out in front of from the very beginning. Vital news to anyone, and these days that means practically everyone who uses a cell phone. Today, a World Health Organization panel took a fresh look at the medical research and concluded that cell phones are, quote, possibly carcinogenic. In simple English, they might cause cancer. Now, putting the gadget most Americans carry, and many of us practically live on, into the same category as car exhaust, certain dry cleaning chemicals, and the pesticide DDT. The WHO report comes just days after our own 360MD Sanjay Gupta investigated serious questions about the current research on cell phones and cancer. Now, here's a portion of Sanjay's report, which aired as recently as last night, foreshadowing today's stunning 180 from the WHO on cell phone safety.
If you've ever put a cell phone to your ear, you should listen to what neurosurgeon Dr. Keith Black has to say.
There's no way to say that cell phone use is safe. I think that the public has a right to know that there could be a potential risk. The public generally assumes that if one is selling something on the market, that we have had assurances that that device is safe.
To be clear, Dr. Black's message is at odds with headlines from the largest international study on cell phones and cancer. Their conclusion, little or no evidence cell phones are associated with brain tumors. But if you look just one layer deeper into the appendix of that same study, and you'll see something unsettling. Turns out participants in the study who used a cell phone for 10 years or more had doubled the rate of brain glioma, a type of tumor.
Precisely what triggered today's warning, a closer look at the existing studies. For example, last year, Interphone, a 13-country study, found no overall higher risk of brain tumors, but they did find that people who used a cell phone for 10 years or more had doubled the rate of a cancer called glioma, certainly not a scientist, a cancer called glioma, which is one of the most aggressive forms of brain cancer. Other studies have been more reassuring. Some, though, have caused new reasons for concern. Earlier this year, researchers using real-time brain scans showed that less than an hour of cell phone use can increase brain activity in the area closest to the phone antenna. And it's important to point out that cell phone radiation is measured on the assumption that you don't hold the phone up right to your ear. Phone makers, in fact, recommend a ½ inch or more. But as you and I know, hardly anyone actually does that. For years, I, like most of you, have probably pressed the phone against your ear. Well, it turns out even the manufacturers of the phone recommend you don't do that. The studies are confusing, and none is done using precisely the same way, so it's hard to draw conclusions. And then there's this, make of it what you will. Our medical producer, Danielle Delorto, spoke recently to a researcher, Dr. Henry Lay, at the University of Washington. Like the WHO, he's been reviewing cell phone studies. What he found is that in the studies not funded by the cell phone industry, 67% reported negative health effects like fertility problems, cancers, and certain cognitive problems. But in studies that were funded by the cell phone industry, just 28% did. Again, that's according to a respected longtime researcher on radiation and its effects on people. But like just about anything to do with the alleged cell phone cancer link, you can't draw any firm conclusions from that, just like the WHO couldn't draw a firm cancer connection from the studies they looked at. They could only infer possibilities and reasons for concern. That's why the cell phone industry trade group today said the report does not mean cell phones cause cancer. But keep them honest, the report does say they might.